I'm Anthony, founder at SeedLegals, and every day I meet amazing founders on SeedLegals. And today I'm talking to Sophia from Morby. So tell me, what does Morby do?
So Morby is an online estate planning platform, and what we do is create wills for young people.
Okay, so wills you normally associate with well, I'll deal with it when I'm 80, right? But then, of course, that doesn't always happen. Wills used to be one of these things that took forever and were super expensive. And I love meeting people at SeedLegals who, like SeedLegals, are transforming some old-fashioned legal process. So tell me how Morby works.
Morby is essentially an online platform, and you have to answer just a few questions about you, your estate, and what you want to happen. And then we create your will. You can do it in under 15 minutes. It's not daunting. It's definitely not boring, which I think wills can be. And yeah, it's really quick and easy.
So I understand quite a few people don't have a will. And if you don't have a will, tell me what happens, because it's not good necessarily.
Yeah, so you are subject to something called the rules of intestacy, which means that essentially the government decides what happens to your estate. And so it might not be what you want, and therefore you need a will.
Okay, so I'm guessing, the reason people don't create a will is twofold. One, it sounds complicated and expensive. And two, it sounds like something you can put off to another day. So how do you help solve that problem?
So first of all, we decided to make it fully online. Gone are the days where you're having to go sit down for 2 hours with a man in a grey suit. And we also tried to make our branding tongue-in-cheek, curated for a younger demographic so that it's, it doesn't feel as outdated. It's accessible and it's not boring.
Okay, so one of the things with wills, obviously, is there's a lot of money potentially at stake. So how do you make sure that it's going to be legally binding? Well, is it online afterwards? Do you get a downloaded PDF? How do you make sure everyone's going to recognize it afterwards?
Yes, this is a question I get quite a lot, actually. So once we finish making the will, obviously it goes through some legal due diligence on the back end. We then send you the will in PDF form by email. You then print the PDF and you then sign, witness it. We send you a document, we take you through it. It can be a little bit complicated, but we do make it super easy, and that's how you make it legally binding.
Great. And tell me, how many people at Morby? What stage are you at right now?
So we launched finally a couple of weeks ago. So we're super early, but we're growing, and we've managed to get some really good, company partnerships already in the past couple of weeks, which has been great, like a huge milestone for us. And yeah, we've got wills coming in, so it's a really good start.
What got you out of bed one day to go, I want to create an e-will system?
So I lost my cousin, sadly, in 22. He was young, successful, he had a baby and he had a fiance, but he didn't have a will. And so when he died, the whole family was left in a bit of a mess. And so I started doing some digging into, why didn't he have a will? He was a smart guy. And then I realised that actually there was nothing out there for young people. Everything did feel really outdated, not really accessible at all. So I thought, okay, let me do something about this. I came from a legal background myself. I qualified as a barrister in 21. So I had some legal background. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try and do something about this.
And so the app is out now.
Yeah.
And you're fundraising at the moment?
We are fundraising, yes. We are currently doing our pre-seed round for 500K. And yeah.
All right. So of course, everyone, some apps are useful by only a small section of the population. This is a problem that 100% of people are guaranteed to have. So how do they find Morby?
So you can either find us on socials at Morby app, or you can go on our website, which is morby.xyz.
So normally I ask, who should use your app? But that's obviously 100% of people. But actually, what percent of people are making wills, and what stage in life are wills made?
The group of people that we're targeting are 25 to 45-year-olds. And actually, 80% of those people either don't have a will or they have one that's outdated. And so, such a large proportion of the population really do need to get that sorted, which is why we're here.
So one of the things with wills, I suppose, is you do need to update them, right? You marry, you divorce, you have kids, whatever. So it's actually a kind of a living document, so to speak. How do you use technology to change an old process so you can update it and get updated copies and so on?
So we have a subscription service on Morby. So for £10 per year, you can log onto the platform anytime from anywhere and update your will. And then it will go through the normal legal due diligence and we'll send you a new copy.
And I guess you can send people periodic reminders for things that have changed in their life that might cause them to want to update it, right?
Exactly. And a lot of people don't know, for example, if you have a will, but then you get married, that will is automatically void. So that's a really big one in people's lives.
All right. And so now you're fundraising.
We are.
And
Yeah.
are you fundraising with a funding round or using seed fast? And help, someone watching this see how you find investors and any advice for them on how to find investors.
Yeah, so we're currently using a seed fast round through SeedLegals, which again, I had no idea about before SeedLegals. I think even though I came from a legal background, this side of things was never taught to us at law school. I had no idea about it. And so I definitely couldn't have done it by myself. In terms of finding investors, we found that the most successful way to do it was through a warm introduction through angels. We've only got angel investment so far, and then sort of bringing those angels onto the platform, getting the contracts done through there. It's been really good.
Okay, so warm intros. So you find one person and you ask them to make intros.
Yeah.
You're not doing LinkedIn outreach and so on.
We are also doing LinkedIn outreach, but in terms of like successful conversion rate to investment, we've definitely found the warm intros work better. That being said, the conversion rate even from the warm intros is very low. We must have had about, honestly, probably 200, 300 intros and we got 2. So,
Okay,
yeah.
Amazing. And so what's your ticket size you're finding for investors?
Right now, our ticket size is about 20k each. We're hoping to increase that over the next few months. Ideally, we'd like to get up to 150 and 500. But yeah, that's where we're at right now.
And the government statistics from SEI are that typical ticket size of sort of 5 to 10K, and then another peak at sort of 25 to 50K.
Yeah.
So, when you're talking to angel investors, that's probably what you should expect. Separately with crowdfunding, there's hundreds of people at £500 each, but that's a whole extra thing, and I think way more difficult than just reaching out to angel investors directly. So if you can raise, 500K, with 20 people at 25K, that's kind of a good number and is par for the course for that size round.
Yeah, I think a big thing for us as well was that we didn't want to just take cash from people. We wanted to bring on people strategically, people with, with the sort of knowledge base or talents that could help us, or alternatively with the network that could also benefit us. And luckily we've managed to do that.
All right. Well, I'm delighted to hear that because, of course, you always want, at minimum, investors to evangelize your product and spread the word and send people your way. Sometimes investors a bit overpromise on the things that they're going to do, and you should often take that with a grain of salt. But there's no reason to not, aim for that.
Yeah, of course. I have found since creating Morby that a lot of it is smokes and mirrors. We started off being promised like this check, and then, something happens, they don't pull through. And so it's just a waiting game and a learning game. And I feel like I've learned so much in the past couple of years from this.
All right. So, often founders get despondent from that. But if you think of it from the point of view of an investor, they, with their investment money, could be buying a Maserati or going on a holiday or something like that. And of course, they are then thinking, well, I can get a return on investment. I can do good for the world. I can get involved in helping smart people. And they're weighing up all these options. And then, just when they perhaps thinking of investing, the government changes the interest rates or the tax rates, and what would have been something to do with discretionary money, there's no longer any discretionary money because their mortgage has gone up. So from the point of view of an investor, it's a hobby. They don't have to do it. And when you see an investor drop out, it doesn't mean anything bad on their side. It just means various circumstances for them or the world has changed that meant something they were interested in doing may no longer be feasible or the best thing to do. And so always, once you work on that basis, you don't need to take it personally if investors drop out. That said, it is seriously, draining if you've reached out to lots of investors and they're sort of bailing and you're your conversion rate is like 3% or whatever it might be, right? The story of your life for any founder.
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely been a tough part of the journey for us. But I think if you've got a team around you that just is, really motivated and still really believe in the product and in the company and the team, that really helps.
Okay. And lastly, any advice for founders?
I think my main piece of advice would honestly be just to get up every day and be determined. Like, we've had some really rough patches where, yeah, as I said, maybe checks haven't come in. There have been iterations of the product that have been really awful, and we're like, okay, we need to go back to the drawing board. But I think every day, if you get up with that same sort of tenacity, that will just get you through it.
All right. And as a founder, I guess you have to be the leader for your team, right? Which is a bit difficult if you don't have that vision to keep motivating you all the time.
Yeah, being a leader has been really rewarding. Everyone on the team has sort of gone through quite a similar experience. And so we are all on the same wavelength. We all understand the difficulties, and therefore we're all really united in terms of the vision.
All right. Well, thank you, Sophia. It's been brilliant talking to you. Thanks for sharing that.
Thank you for inviting me.